We're going to talk about Netflix and their shitty games on today's Not So Critical Update.
The article is actually talking about how to play Netflix's surprisingly terrific games, not their shitty games. And the so I read this whole article and it talked about how the games are actually really good, but they're hard to get to because you got to scroll down, and you got to find them, you got to install something on your phone. So in the interest of research, because that's what we do for this show, is we come prepared. I went to my computer, opened Netflix, and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and clicked through the menus and checked my settings and couldn't find any reference of games. So then I went to my TV, where I have a TiVo 4K with Android TV, and went through the same thing and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and checked all the menus and clicked around, and I could never find any of the games. So I don't even know if it rolls out a certain way, or I just couldn't find it, or I'm not even meant to find it in Netflix. I'm supposed to just go find it on my phone. I was confused by the whole thing.
I think that Netflix lost 1% of their user base for the first time ever, and they are grasping at straws. They cannot deal with the fact that they're shrinking in size, they're shrinking in market share, and this is their like, oh, look how innovative we are. We put games on TV. The funny thing is that this has been a thing for a very long time. And I mean, like, old TV boxes 10, 15 years ago had games. They were fucking terrible games, but they had them. Nothing new is happening here. This is not innovation. This isn't great. I'm not a fan at all. You want to play games, then play games. But like, if you can't afford to play games, that's totally fair. Enjoy Netflix's bullshit, but like, I am not a supporter at all.
Yeah. So I actually did this totally wrong. They're
games.
not actually games on the TV. And maybe this is what I missed in the article, is you actually are supposed to download the Netflix app on your phone to get access to the games. So
oh, sorry.
That just,
so you're telling me
I said it that way. That's not your fault. I said it the wrong way.
No, but I was under the assumption that Netflix games were meant to be played on the TV. So maybe I should have done a little bit of research. So you're saying that on my phone,
I did the wrong research. So
is where I'm supposed to play these games?
Yeah, apparently in the Netflix app on Android or Apple iPhone, that's where you can find the games in the Netflix app.
So why wouldn't I just play normal games on my phone? Why do I have to go through Netflix?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. But this isn't just, all thrashing. Apparently, again, according to the article, they had actually started searching for execs in the gaming industry early last year. So this is something that's been in the making for a little while. It's not totally out of the blue.
Sure, but like, also not interested.
Let me just try and install it live in real time.
I can't get behind something like this, because, and it's not like I push for, staying the same or no innovation or no change. It just feels so cheap. Like, why would I play a game on Netflix? It feels very similar to Google Stadia, or I forget what the Xbox one was. I think Amazon's working on one too, but basically streaming video games, allowing you to play AAA games in your browser by using their servers to process the heavy load. And that's just what this feels like to me. But even worse, because you still need your phone to run these games. So not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a gamer anyway, but beyond, I don't know, like, I'll do like Sudoku on my phone or something like that. I know that's not gaming. I totally understand that. I'm just saying, like, I'm not a gamer. This is how I'm proving that I'm not a gamer, right? But even what I've seen of games, I know, like, there were racing games where they would try to kind of emulate the NES controller on the phone screen, or emulate an Xbox controller, kind of like those style of controls on the phone screen.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, it never even seemed like a good idea.
And you know the craziest part? I'm pretty sure I'm pulling this out of my ass, this number. I might be totally wrong, but I'm fairly certain the largest number of gamers are mobile.
Really?
Yep.
Well, let's just assume that's true. Um,
Yeah, who needs to fact check that?
so related to gaming on the phone and the bad UI, like phones in a sense are kind of the precursor to the Star Trek interfaces, right? It's kind of a blank panel. You can show whatever you want. You do your typing there. Have you ever tried typing on like a surface like that? I guess if you did like an iPad, it would kind of be like that. Typing on a flat surface like that, like I
So
don't like it
unintuitive.
at all.
Do you remember the laser keyboards?
The laser, oh, where it kind of like projects onto
Project
a,
the
yeah,
laser
it just, I
and
don't know,
then
it seems
reads the
terrible.
interference. And first off, it is not fun slamming your fingers against the desk or glass. Like it starts kind of hurting because we're not conditioned to be soft when we type. We type on keyboards, so we click clack away. Not great. Also, no feedback makes it very weird to type on these devices.
Yeah. I
That's
think
going to
that's
be a
what
strange
a
thing to
lot of
work
what it
through.
is for me, because even on a keyboard, you always get that little tab on the F and J keys so you can find home row. Like that's a pretty important part of the typing experience for me at least.
I forget where I read this, but that the keyboard was one of the most innovative, like game changers in terms of technology use, which is why such an old tool is still being used today. We've seen keyboards for what, 100 years, 150 maybe even. Um, and they're still around, and the most used communications, I guess, peripheral. Um,
And I want a better keyboard. I have trouble with like carpal tunnel. I do a lot of
mhm,
programming, typing.
mhm.
So I have an ergonomic keyboard, but like I've never found like a good keyboard that just felt comfortable typing in natural hand position. There's a lot of experimental designs out there, but it's a tool that could, like, I don't know if there's a better solution. It just feels like a tool that I would love to see a better solution to.
So some people have tried to recreate it with like multiple, I think it's like directional typing too. Like one key can be 4 letters so that the profile is a lot smaller.
But then you have
But
to
this
have
is
like
such a
modifier keys and stuff like that.
Mhm, exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of, I think, speed and efficiency, there's a reason why we still use these old things.
I need a
But you are
Neuralink.
right. Yeah.
I would
Yeah. So
100% do that.
I've gone into the habit of like just talking to Google. So I had to make sure they
I do
didn't turn
voice to
on.
text on my phone a lot.
I don't do a lot of voice texting, but I do a lot of commanding. Um, I won't manually turn on alarms anymore, as an
Hmm,
example.
interesting.
Um, and I think that's probably going to be the next step, is that we'll end up just talking to our devices instead of even really using them physically, besides looking at them.
Yeah.
Um,
So instead of running around my house like a crazy person checking TVs to see if I could find games on the TV, I should just have installed the Netflix app on my phone like the article said to do, and the games are there. So I don't have anything to report on how well the games work or if they're fun to play, but they are actually on the phone. And they look, honestly, just from like scrolling through, like a lot of the games you already see on phones in the Play Store.
yeah, not a fan. We'll have to hear Mike's report if ever. And I think
If
that's it.
anybody's tried it, leave a
Yeah,
comment about what
let us know
the
what you think.
best game on Netflix is, and I will try to
Yeah,
do better research for next time.
let us know. Let us know what you think, and also why you think it sucks.